I'm a student at Amana Academy, which is a STEM certified charter school. In class, we read a book called Omnivore by Michael Pollan. The book is about food and the secrets behind it, the food chain, organic and inorganic food, and industrial farming. It also talks about how all these factors affect the world and us. Mr. Pollan's point of view is that people should eat more organic food because in the industrial farming, the plants are raised using chemical fertilizers and pesticides, which is risky to the consumer's health. The farmers also burn a lot of oil, gas, and fossil fuels to power their tractors and harvesting machines. This causes a lot of CO2 and other toxic pollutions to be released into the air. He also talks about cattle raising. Cows have become a huge source of methane, which is a greenhouse gas. Not only that the cattle produces a lot of CH4, but it also consumes thousands of gallons of water, to the point that one burger equals more than 600 gallons of water. Reading this book hasn't affected the way I eat because I'm a vegan, which means I don't eat any animal-based products. But now I try to eat more organic fruits and vegetables than inorganic fruits and vegetables. In class, we also had a visitor. He was a speaker named Mr. Orlando. He talked about how carbon dioxide is produced by burning oil, gas, and fossil fuels. And he taught us that carbon dioxide causes climate change and global warming. He also did an experiment to prove that carbon dioxide is a warming gas. He said the experiment like this. There are 2 bottles full of H2O. He put 4 Alka-Seltzer tablets in one of the bottles, then left the other. Then he put 2 thermometers on top of each one. After 40 minutes, we looked at the thermometer and found out that the bottle with Alka-Seltzer had a higher temperature than the other bottle, which only contained H2O. So this result showed us that, indeed, carbon dioxide is a warming gas. Mr. Orlando agrees with Mr. Michael Pollan that the carbon dioxide is increasing in the atmosphere and is increasing global warming with it. But there are others who disagree with Mr. Pollan and are against his book, The Omnivore Dilemma. There are the farmers and the scientists. I think Mr. Pollan should have put more scientific details in his work, as well as highlighting the positives of industrial farming, as he did with organic farming, so he can be fair for everyone. For example, when he tells us why inorganic food is unhealthy because it's raised using chemical fertilizers and pesticides, he doesn't explain scientifically why using chemicals and pesticides are dangerous for our health. Some scientists are against Mr. Pollan because they believe that he didn't use any science in his work, and instead he used mental thinking. This can make industrial farmers run out of business because some people can be convinced about Mr. Pollan's point of view and not buy any food from his farmers. The farmers are against Mr. Pollan because they believe that his work is a direct attack on them and their job. In Mr. Pollan's book, The Omnivore Dilemma, he is informing the readers about organic and inorganic farming. And at the same time, he is persuading the audience to eat organic food. This can make industrial farmers run out of business because some people can be convinced about Mr. Pollan's point of view and not buy any food from his farmers. Some scientists are against Mr. Pollan because they believe that he didn't use any science in his work, and instead he used mental
My name is Toqa Wahid. In STEM, we are building a children's museum. We went on a field trip to an actual children's museum so we can have an image of what we are supposed to do and know our expectations. So we're divided into groups. Every group is building one section of the museum. In my group, we are building a maze of the carbon cycle where the children will walk through a hallway and pass through some rooms. Every room shows a phase of the carbon cycle. For example, one room will show cows and how they produce methane. Another room would show how plants produce CO2. And another one would show the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and how it can end up back in the ground or in some bodies of water. After everyone is done with their part, we will take all of the sections built from every group and put them into one children's museum. And that would be the museum built by the Amana students.